Alright, so let's get this started. I waited way too long for this, so. So, Thor Love and Thunder is the fourth Thor movie, the second of the Thor movies made by Taika Waititi, but in all there's four. This is the fourth movie of Thor. And right, right off, I'm kind of like iffy about it because there is a lot of negative and somewhat kind of positive. You know, um, I have really mixed feelings on this. You know, this movie. Um, First off, um, coming off of Thor Ragnarok, which I actually liked. I know a lot of people didn't like it because of the jokes, because of the, you know, tameness of it. But you know, I'll just say my feelings on this. So it starts off in a barren wasteland, uh, no water, right? So we have Gore the God Butcher. Uh, Gore, bef- this is before he becomes a God Butcher, praying to his god, Rapu, which is the god of light, wanting, you know, wanting rain, right, for his daughter. Um, you know, and his daughter is dying, and as he said to Rapu, all his villagers died. Everyone starved. Everyone died of thirst. Of heat. As me and J-Man and a lot of his other panel went into discussion on this, and I do agree of what J-Man said. Shout out to J-Man. Um, that it would have been better if we would have saw everyone dying. It would have been better if the god comes, gives water, and then Gore with the Necrosword kills the god, and everyone banishes him. You know that would have been good. But here we have, you know, supposedly everyone dies, right? We don't see it. We only see Gore, and we only see his his daughter. Um, so his daughter dies, and then um, his multiple prayers are answered. So he goes and follows this voice calling out to him, which is basically the Necker sword. And he goes into this kind of like paradise forest, right? Falls into a little bitty pond, drinks the water. There's 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 fruit laid out, and then we see um, Rapu, which I gotta say, first off, like the we've seen gods in the MCU before, um, you know, like Odin and all the other Norse gods, they have a really good look to them, you know, as an armor, and their armor is colorful and whatnot, kind of looking like the if you've read the old um, Thor magazines from Kirby, you know what I'm talking about. Everything's bright and colorful. Rapu is like this guy who's like this bearded red guy with a red beard, basically all out in armor, right? Gold armor. His headset, his headdress, kind of looks, honestly, um, of Mayan, kind of like Mayan god descent. If you know what Mayan gods look like, it kind of has this like Mayan look, Aztec look to it. I really loved it. Okay. Um, so Gore says, "I prayed to you. Everyone's dead. My child's dead." Um, and you know, basically the god is basically a rep who is basically like there is no. It's like there is no afterlife. You know, your Gore's like, I'm waiting for an afterlife. There is no afterlife. Um, he basically the gods in this movie is basically kind of like the guy. Kind of said they're kind of like the gods in God of War. They're assholes. They're um, don't care about anyone. Um, they're selfish. You know they're just plain assholes. Like the Greek gods in God of War and the Norse gods. They're assholes, right? Who don't care about um, the people that serve them, right? Um, or honestly, another good simile is another good example is honestly I've been watching Preacher recently, and it's kind of like God in that universe, selfish asshole, you know, and that's all we got in this story, you know. So Gore says, "I will beat you," and then Rapu just like grabs him and says, "This is your destiny," and is going to kill Gore, right? And the Negro sword you know, comes into um, Gore's hand, and basically Gore just like stabs Rapu, in the throat. Rapu lets him go, and basically, um, you know, dialogue, of course, stating, that's the Necro Sword. Naraku says, that's the Necro Sword. It chose you. You're now cursed. And then um, Gore says, that's funny. It's not. Doesn't seem like a curse more. Of a promise. And he's like, this is my promise. Every god dies. And he cuts off Rapu's head. Right. Um, that is the only god death basically in this movie. Right. Um, well, that is seen, right? So Gore the Butcher only kills one god in this, in this series, in this movie, which that's what I have a problem with. You know, yes, there are other gods seen, right? Like the big dragon kind of god that's from the comics. Forget his name. That's in the actually taken from a scene from the trailer where Gore, Gore, Thor, and I forget the water creature's name, but anyway, looking at the giant god, you know, dragon-like kind of alien god that's from the comics, which this is pulled into. I haven't read the run, but I'm sure it's way better than this. But and I have said before, this was after the whole garbage of um of metaverse of sadness, that maybe this will break me or give me a new liking into the MCU. You know, I don't even know at this point. But anyway, um, yeah, that's the first and only death in this film. And we switch into Thor and Guardians of the Galaxy fighting aliens. Of course, basically, the Guardians of the Galaxy has to ask Thor to join because he honestly wants to, be, you know, jo- be a god of peace and not, you know, battling people and things. But Thor comes and he basically does this half-assed speech, hero speech, which I think is hilarious. The it's basically showing a we get it. The speech is ridiculous. Just go with us. And basically he wipes out the entire alien race and destroys the temple of the aliens that you know, the home aliens temple, and basically things happen. There's a distress signal from Sif, which you finally see Lady Sif. Um, you haven't seen her after honestly the Dark World, you know, um, which that was a long time ago. Um, she's fighting, and tells Thorin via distress message, Gore is coming, he is coming. And there's loads of other gods dying, there's loads of distress signals. So the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor decide to split up. Um, we don't see, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy are only there for a bit, and you don't see them at all, honestly. Um, Not at the end of the movie, not, in the middle. They're gone from the movie, until Guardians 4. I mean, Guardians 3, actually. Sorry. Guardians 3. So, basically, Thor and, shit, hold on. and Korg, and oh, I forgot to mention um, the 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 inhabitants of the planet give Thor two goats, of course, which if you read the comics, they are, or in mythology, if you're a Norse mythology buff like me, um, it's Tooth Grinder and Tooth Gnasher. They don't. Their names aren't said though through the movie. Sadly, um, he doesn't name them. You know, um, again, it's kind of sad that you know it's a wasted opportunity, honestly. Um, but anyway, Korg, Thor, and Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder um, basically teleport to Sif, who honestly basically is exhausted from battle, laying in the snow with like one arm, missing. Thor asks Sif what's wrong, and she says again, but Gore the God Butcher is here. Um, and the Necrosword is mentioned, which is weird because like the Necrosword is like this whole myth, and the in Norse in the Norse that the Norse gods know, but you don't uh, like it's not mentioned till this movie, you know. Which I'm gonna. There's another thing that's not mentioned only after this movie, exists. But I'll get into that in a second. So yeah, the Necrosword has been apparently have been around since first Thor. Everyone in Norse myth knows. Norse all the Norse gods know about it. You know, you know, plot hole, plot relevance, whatever you want to call it. I mean, anyway. Um, so
Mom convinced we're gonna win the lottery, so she's gonna buy a lottery.
so
Until then,
then there's a side plot where we see Natalie Portman's character, Jane Foster, um, in the doctor's office. She finds out that she has cancer, and we see her doing chemotherapy, and all this, and she's trying to find a cure and whatnot, which failed. We see the scientist guy from, you know, Thor and Thor 2, the old scientist guy, who was basically um, taken control of by the Mind Stone. That was in Loki's staff, and I believe it was Avengers or something. I forget the old movies. Anyway, um, so he's telling her that there is no cure for her cancer. Um, so she's looking at some books and she sees, some Norse books. So she decides to go to New Asgard. So New Asgard, it basically is now this village kind of place. Um, they have this joke about basically the Infinity Gauntlet. It's now this ice cream store. It's this joke about the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's an ice cream store. Um, and like I don't know. I think it's a bad taste in joke, because of all the people that died. But I mean, it's just really weird. But it's a kind of a blink and you miss it kind of thing. But anyway, so we see some tours, going around the city. We see a brand new kind of theater where theater play, kind of like in Thor Ragnarok. Sam Neill is back as as Odin and playing the theater Odin.
Josh, what time is it?
Um, Matt Damon, if you guys know that joke, Matt Damon. So kind of a world, um, Team America world police joke there. But anyway, Matt Damon is just playing Loki, and I don't know who's playing Thor in the theater version of, you know, they're basically doing the theater version of um, Ragnarok, where Hell is shown, and you know, Odin dies and whatnot, and Hell is being played by Melissa McCarthy, which thankfully she's not in the movie that long because I don't like Melissa McCarthy. Really, she's unfunny. She's like all she does is like pratfalls and shit, and it's just really annoying. Um, I do like though um, the movie where she steals someone's identity, steals what's his name? Fuck. Um, Jerry O'Connor's identity, and that little police movie with Sandra Bullock. I kind of like that, but besides that, she's not very funny. She's just a really really bad comedian. It's nothing towards Melissa McCarthy. I just don't like. I don't like her comedy style. Also, she was in that bad 2016 female Ghostbusters movie. Ugh, you know. Anyway, so so can you, anyway, give me a second. Anyway, and there's this kind of you know tour of broken.
Okay,
Anyway, which Hella the real Hella broke in Ragnarok. And Jane Foster is there. Um, and she goes around the hammer, and it starts moving and trying to collect itself, but you don't see it, break the glass. You don't see the bits of hammer break the glass of Mimir, break the glass, or like reconstruct or anything. The next time you see the hammer, it's in James Foster's hands, and she's Thor, you know Lady Thor, which she's named Mighty Thor in this when it's not. It's Lady Thor. Mighty Thor is actually you know him. The real Thor's name. Um, which for some reason she earlier there's a line. I'll get to it. But anyway, so Gore comes and basically there's this fight scene. It's pretty dark, but you can see a little bit of it. It's not as dark as the fucking shit from AVP Requiem. I can tell you that. But there's a good fight between Thor and Gore, and Thor almost has him, but we have a lot of movie left, so he escapes with all the children. You know, um, especially Himdall's son. Um, there's this stupid joke where his name's Axel. He renames himself Axel like Axel Rose. It's dumb. It really is. But anyway, so Thor, Valkyrie. I'm not gonna call Queen Valkyrie. I'm not gonna call her King Valkyrie. It's Queen Valkyrie. Sorry, but Queen because that's what it is in the comics. Queen Valkyrie, and in Norse mythology, there is no fucking King Valkyrie in Norse myth. All the fucking Valkyries are women. But anyway, and Jane trying, Jane shows up and there's this whole Jane, and like in the trailer, Thor surprise. But anyway, those three and um try and hatch a plan to get all the children back. You know, um, so there's they hatch this plan to go to this whole place where there's a bunch of gods everywhere. Um, so they go there, and oh, by the way, so Ymir, Thor's hammer, actually, when you throw it, it breaks to little pieces and um, hurts people that way, and basically comes back together. It's really cool. I kind of like that in the hammer, uh, the new, how the hammer does now. But anyway, so they decided to take the robes of the gods of emotion or some shit, and they, you know, they basically hide until it's right, and so they can tell the gods what's up. There's some pretty cool stuff in there. Thor actually name drops Hercules, which will be shown in which he will, appear in the end of the movie. Ra, which is the Egyptian god, um, and we honestly see some of the Egyptian gods in there, like Isis, which not in her avatar, kind of like Moon Knight, but her actual godlike form, and Ra is the god of light, which we don't see in um, Moon Knight, but he is name dropped in this movie. So, you know, um, there's some Mayan gods. There's some kind of like Mayan Hispanic gods. There's um, there's this joke about Bao, the god of dumplings. It's a stupid joke, but a bunch of other gods. Um, there's a tree god. There's a every honestly, there's every god in existence. You see Zeus, which shows up, and he's actually played as this fucking joke, which is pretty sad because Zeus in the comics is really strong, and fear. I mean, here he's just like this stubby, this fat Greek guy, just played for laughs and as a joke, you know. Hera is in the throne behind him. You see Athena all in armor. You see, you actually see Dionysus, in a crowd of people saying, "You go, Dad." He's in the kind of bleachers, whatnot. All these gods are like here, and like they they think that Zeus is like this big, huge deal, and he's just played for laughs, and it's ridiculous, dude. Like, um, it was pretty sad because I thought, Zeus would be, you know, would would be used better, but he's not. He's just used as a joke, you know. And when Zeus comes down from his little like throne, or um, or whatever, um, he he like he passes this little young kid, kind of buff young kid, who's you know I assume is Hermes, so that's Hermes. It's almost all the Greek gods there. So Thor tells him that Gore is here, and he's coming to kill all the gods, and you know, Zeus is like, Zeus is saying, don't have a panic, enjoy some wine, grapes, and an orgy that's coming. They're having this little um, god orgy, and it's just all played for laughs. It's like Zeus is just like it's really bad. Um, and you know, there's this fight with Thor, and oh, so in the trailer, basically, let me say this real quick. So in the trailer, you got baited, right? You basically, when Zeus take flips, does a flip thing and like takes off Thor's clothes, you see his front and his back, right, which is censored. You only see Chris Hemsworth ass and his back. So yeah, we kind of got baited right there. They Taika Waititi basically baited you guys. If you guys wanted to see Chris Hemsworth junk, well, you're not gonna see it in here. But anyway, there's this fight, and basically Queen Valkyrie and Jane, you know, Jane Foster, who is Lady Thor, just takes down guards. You know, um, Korg gets hit with Zeus's lightning bolt and crumbles. He's not dead, you know. I thought he was gonna be dead, but he's not dead. He's just a head right now. Um, and basically, Zeus throws the lightning bolt at Thor, and basically, Thor catches it and uses his power that he got from, you know, to summon lightning that he got from Ragnarok. You know, you can summon lightning without the hammer. You know, you use that from Ragnarok. But anyway, and he turns the lightning bolt blue, throws it at at Zeus, and basically it like makes a hole in Zeus's chest, and you know he falls over. I thought Zeus was dead, which was like I was like, what the fuck, you know? And Queen Valkyrie, like after they escape, was like Zeus is dead, you know, but he's not dead. Thankfully, there's this whole ending scene with him. But anyway, um, so it goes through Zeus and gets caught or something, and you know it gets caught in this little metal thing or whatever, and um, they need the lightning bolt so they could, you know, use it against Gore or some bullshit, you know, because they can't use the hammers or something, you know, because the hammers honestly don't work against the Necro Sword and shit, you know. So Queen Valkyrie like gets the lightning bolt and steals it, and Korg basically calls the goats, and there's this like this whole joke where you know every time Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder are on the screen, they fucking yell, kind of like that, you know, that old screaming goat meme. But anyway, it's really tiring and pretty fucking annoying. But anyway, they go out, you know, they get out there via, you know, Biofrost, you know, um, which they actually used to power up um, this ship that Queen Valkyrie had, and basically was pulled by the goats, you know, which you see in the trailer. They ride on the rainbow, and then they just go up and just, you know, go to where the gods are. Wait. Um, so basically, they go into the land of shadows or Necro realm or whatever they call it, where Gore is to capture the children. Um, we find out that basically, just like in the comics, Jane, um, every time Jane uses the power of Thor, she gets weaker. Um, you see that throughout the film. Oof, excuse me. So they get their ass beat by Gore, and Jane gets weak. Um, Gwen Valkyrie gets stabbed, so they go they get out of there, and they have to get out there without, you know, basically Gore getting the hammer so he can basically summon the entrance to infinity, which is that infinity is this all powerful being where if you wish something, it will be granted. So Gore is going to wish all the gods away, you know. Instead of basically killing them all like he did in the comics. But you know, again, like like the Necro Sword, Infinity is just here for this one movie. You're like, where the fuck is Infinity and you know in Avengers or like Age of Ultron or any of these other movies like Infinity War. Why didn't why didn't um, Thanos wish on Infinity to wipe out the entire population or get the Infinity Stones? Because Infinity was just written for this movie and this movie alone. Again, plot device. Um, so anyway, they go to New Asgard. They come back to New Asgard, no kids. Um, the kids are still there. With Gore, and Gore has the hammer. You know, um, and there's this stupid. I forgot to mention. There's this stupid fucking joke where like uh, Thor's jealous of Mimir going with Jane, and like Stormbreaker's jealous of Thor trying to get back to fucking his hammer, and that's stupid. It's like they're objects. They don't have feelings or whatever. It's a stupid joke, but anyway. Um, so
Would you tell me to tell her?
so Thor takes Zeus's thunderbolt and basically goes back to fight Gore himself. Um, Jane is dying, and you know promises Thor that she won't be she won't be Thor again. Just because if she does, then she dies. Um, and surprise, surprise, she shows up. Like shows up in the middle of battle because, of course, strong female has to, you know, has to protect weak man, which was supposed to be the strong guy. But anyway, so, um, it's almost over. So anyway, basically, Gore gets defeated, you know, right near Infinity. Jane dies because she used the fucking hammer when she wasn't supposed to. And I kind of cheered when she died, honestly, because she's a shit character. Honestly, ever since fucking Thor, the first Thor, ever since Thor 1, she was a shit character. But anyway, she dies and like literally evaporates, kind of like, hi Maria, how are you? Thank you for coming in. She evaporates, kind of like how Odin did in Norway. Yeah, I think it was in Norway. They were in Norway when when they were trying to find Odin, because Norway, Norse god, kind of thing. I kind of like that. But anyway, so she dies, and that's good, Maria. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for subbing, following, and thank you for viewing my content. Welcome. This is your first time being here. Give me a second. I guess it's a little late, but anyway, um, so there's this whole thing where like you know Thor wants to wish for Jane to be better, and Gore wants to wish his daughter back. And, Gore's like, she'll be alone, and then uh, Jane Foster basically says she won't be alone, and just and again, which I'm happy for. Jane Foster was a terrible, terrible, terrible character, and it's not, you know, again, it's not because of Natalie Portman, you know, it's like the whole Melissa McCarthy thing, it's not because of that, you know, but anyway, so Gore wishes for his daughter, and they have a final meeting, you know, um, he dies, and you know, there's this end scene where Thor is back on New Asgard, and he's taking care of the kid, and so through this whole thing, Gore, has been monologuing and says, "Let me tell the legend of, you know, Thor and you know, which they renamed themselves Love and Thunder because you know title sequence. Um, Gore's daughters love and like Thor is thunder, and it's like that's the whole entitle. That's the whole point of the fucking movie. Was to say the title. Anyway, it was just this movie was blah. You know, it, it's pretty negative. In my eyes, not a lot of positive. Like I said, and fuck Melissa McCarthy. I'm sorry, but you're not a good actor. Hated. I'm glad that she wasn't, in this film for that long, but hated her other films. I'm glad um, Jane Foster died. That's the only positive I see in this movie. The rest is just garbage. I did like how they had the ghosts, though. Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder. So, I'm glad they were in there. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, just like Multiverse of Sadness, I'm still kind of wondering, should I fucking still be, you know, invested in this fucking universe, Because there's so much that still needs to be coming up, Like Wakanda Forever with Namor, which I'll get to that maybe tomorrow. That'll be a little short video. Um, the X-Men, Fantastic Four is going to be in like phase 5. Wakanda Forever is going to end phase 4. You know, um, Quantum, what was it? The new Ant-Man, Quantum Mania, is going to have like MODOK, and it's going to be Bill Murray. I'm not really excited about that. I mean, how the fuck are they gonna have Modoc in there? You know, and Modoc isn't even a fucking Ant-Man villain. Like, I don't know. Like, this universe is just. It started off good and it just fucking went off the deep end. So that's my review of Thor Love and Thunder. Oh boy. See you guys on the next one.